With that down, Alou, what do we got up next?
Next up is our Mint Mobile hotline question of the day. To hear your voice on the show and have your question answered, go ahead and leave a message at 951-268-4259. Today's Mint Mobile hotline question of the day comes to us from Marty, who's asking about the future of Warner Brothers.
Hey, John, it's Marty from Orange County. If Black Adam flops, does Warner Brothers pump the brakes on all future DC movie projects? I know everyone is excited that Henry Cavill is finally back as Superman and potentially getting a Man of Steel 2 sequel, but if Black Adam fails, I don't see Warner Brothers rushing to make any of these projects. Am I overthinking this? Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. You know, we were talking yesterday about, look, Black Adam, which is a movie, by the way, I had a lot of fun watching. I've already gone to see it a couple times. I'm probably going to go see it at least one more time in theaters. A lot of fun, that movie. But despite the fact that it's been number one at the box office the last 2 weekends, and despite the fact that it is the biggest opening weekend for a Dwayne Johnson-led movie of Dwayne Johnson's career, including Hobbs and Shaw, that's all good. However, unfortunately, after 2 weeks, which is when a movie makes most of its money, is in the first couple of weeks, the movie's only made $250 million. Now, only 200. A lot of movies would kill to make $250 million. But for a project like this, it's only made about $250 million. With a $200 million budget and roughly $100 million in marketing, that means this movie needs to make around the $450 million mark to just break even, to become profitable. And right now, between the first 2 weekends are already now in its rearview mirror, which means it's going to drop. We had an almost 60% drop, a 57, 58% drop from week 1 to week 2. We're going to see a similar drop from week 2 to week 3. And then we got Black Panther Wakanda Forever coming on November 11th, which, by the way, that's just 10 days from now. The prospects of Black Adam becoming profitable seem to rest with China. If it indeed, it says it's going to be getting a Chinese release. Shazam made $43 million in China, but China's also in the midst of a lot of COVID lockdowns right now. So whether or not Black Adam is going to end up being profitable or not is still a question that's very much in the air. So the question of, well, what happens to Warner Brothers' plans for DC if Black Adam fails to make money? What if it's a money loser? Our viewer calls in and asks, will Warner Brothers slam the brakes on any future DC movie stuff? It's a fair question to ask. However, I would want to point out a couple of things. Maybe the old Warner Brothers, under the old ownership, may be knee-jerk reactionists like that. Actually, the old Warner Brothers regime was known for being knee-jerk reactionish to anything that came to DC. Something happened in DC, like something failed in DC. Oh no, let's rethink everything. One little thing works and goes, let's remap everything to work around this one thing that worked. I mean, that's how they ran things, and that's why they nearly ran it into the ground. But however, there's a new ownership at Warner Brothers now, right? And this new ownership had nothing to do with the production of this movie. The only thing they had to do with this movie was they gave the green light to put Henry Cavill in as a post-credit scene, which the previous ownership said no to, which I still can't understand why they said no before. So this isn't really their movie. So they're going to look at Black Adam. They're going to want it to succeed. They're going to do what they can to help it succeed. But at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with their plan or their roadmap. This new ownership of Warner Brothers and the brand new, newly minted DC Studios under James Gunn and Peter Safran, who took over today, this morning, 9 a.m., they became the new bosses of this brand new DC studio. The Black Adam thing was never part of their plan or their roadmap. So I would say 2 reasons not to worry about it. Number one, just because you hit one bump in the road does not mean you just pull all your plans and freak out. Maybe the old Warner Brothers leadership would have done that. The new Warner Brothers leadership won't. But second is that Black Adam isn't even their movie, right? They are behind it, their name's on it, all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't their movie. So even if it did completely flop, it wouldn't deter their plans for what they're doing moving forward. This had nothing to do with James Gunn's orchestration, so no. Just if Black Adam ends up losing money, and we don't know that it will, but if it does end up losing money, they're going to go, damn, that sucks. Okay, well, let's move forward with our plan now. And so, no, I don't think there's any risk of them upheaving or pulling the plug on all their upcoming DC projects. That anyway, Rob, it is weird that we're talking about maybe a Dwayne Johnson, my second favorite movie star in the world, led superhero movie that we've been waiting for 15 years, might not even be profitable. But if it's not profitable, and it still could be, but if it's not, do you think that throws a wrench in DC's plans moving forward? Guys, we want to thank one of the sponsors of this episode, Wondery, and their official Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power podcast. Your host, Felicia Day, and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each of the episodes of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you won't want to miss. So watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app now.
Well, no, because, look, we got Fury of the Gods coming out. We've got Aquaman coming out. Fall What You Do, the Joker follow-ups being made. What am I forgetting?
Most importantly, the Flash movie.
The Flash,
which
right.
They keep saying is like everybody, not just they, Rob and I both have people we know that are connected to the situation. And everything we are hearing about this Flash movie, despite all the Ezra garbage, is that it's really great. Is that Muschietti made a great movie. So that's the key piece.
Yeah, and the thing is, people have to remember, like we as fans have to remember, the general public is not us. They're not obsessing over every detail of these movies coming out. They're not reading Mikey Sutton's column about every rumor that comes out, and they're not following all of the websites like we do. And they don't know. So a lot of this drama, and people just want to go to movies and like them. But I'll say something, John. I wouldn't count this movie out yet, because you talk about Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw made $750 million.
Yes.
Dwayne Johnson has playability. And while Wakanda Forever is a behemoth it's going to drop like a Warner Brothers
in
anvil.
the same genre.
In the same genre. So I can understand that could, but you know what? It was number one in a lot of countries. Halloween is a soft weekend domestically for film. So I think that this movie has a lot of life left in it. And as we talked about, if it does around what Shazam did, or even more than what Shazam did, you can't expect more, because this is an unknown character for people. If this were Captain America, the Winter Soldier, or Civil War, and it was doing this business, I think it would be considered a flop. But this is a new character, is newly introduced, and there's still gas in the tank, and we'll see where it winds up. But we talked about, if it makes $400 or $500 million, that looks tough. I'm not going to lie. It looks like it's not going to get there right away, but if it plays out, maybe it will.
Here's hoping, because one of the things that's working against it right now is the fact that I don't know that it doesn't have that X factor that everybody seems to be running out of the theater and telling all their friends, you got to go see Black Adam, or a huge amount of rewatchability. Now, I am telling people to go watch Black Adam, and I have seen it multiple times, but I think I'm in the minority here. So unlike, say, a Top Gun Maverick, which had like that wave of word of mouth that just kept it chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging, I don't know that Black Adam does. So it'll be interesting. It's got $200 million to go.
I think you're right. I think what Black Adam is missing is, like, when you go see Top Gun Maverick, it transcends what the audience expected it to be. It is surprisingly emotional, which you wouldn't have thought.
Yeah.
It has romance that you might not have thought. It has great secondary characters that you like. And it has an incredible performance by Tom Cruise. It is more than what you would expect. The problem that Black Adam faces is it's exactly what you expect. It doesn't transcend the genre. We've been getting great superhero movies now for 15 years. And you go see Captain America, the Winter Soldier, it transcends. It's a great movie, even if it wasn't about Captain America.
Yeah, if you take out the comic book aspect of it, it's still a great movie.
And I'll tell you something. You know that from the very beginning, because when Cap meets Sam Wilson on your left, they're jogging around the mall or whatever.
Such a great moment.
It's a great moment, and that goes outside of the comic book genre. That's two men meeting, two soldiers, two people that become friends. And immediately and I think that Black Adam doesn't have any of that. It tries, but it doesn't have enough of it. It doesn't. So that's what I think it has going for it. Or not going for it. It's fun though, like you said. It's fun, but it's not a great movie.
Here's how I describe Black Adam to a buddy of mine. A buddy of mine I was texting with yesterday who hadn't seen the movie yet. I said, here's the thing about Black Adam. Everything that it needs to do well, it does well.
Yes.
All the things that it could do well to elevate it, it does not. So like some terrible dialogue, like a nonsensical kind of story, all the stuff that would make it a great movie other than being a Black Adam movie, it just doesn't have. Fortunately, for people like me, it does do all the things it needs to do. If you're going to do a Rock in the Black Adam movie, you got to make it fun. You got to make it exciting. You got to have some good laughs in there. You got to have some viciousness to it. It has all of that. And that's why I walked out with a big smile on my face. But it didn't do all those other intangibles that you need to do to, like you say, elevate it and transcend the genre. It just doesn't
needed
do
more,
it.
I hate to say it, but it needed more humanity in it.
Yeah. And not that kid.
No.
Maybe less of that kid.
No, that was movie kid. You know, it was too much movie tropes. I mean, the people that wrote it were like, here's a screenplay, you know, and you read it and you're like, okay, I'm sure it read well, but the execution was not.
And what I want to know, in Kandak, is that how you pronounce the name?
Yeah.
Kandak? Why is Diamond Dallas Page such a big dude in Kandak? Like everybody's going around doing the Diamond. Only some of you guys will even understand that reference, but everybody's walking around doing the Diamond Dallas Page.
Reminded me of Daft Punk because they had that pyramid, so everybody would do that for Daft Punk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that either. All right. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? Like, if Black Adam ends up losing money, and we don't know that it will at this point, it's going to struggle to cross that line, but maybe it will. But if it doesn't, do you think that's going to have any impact on how Warner Brothers goes forward with their DC plan? I don't actually think they will, because just as a following up on what Rob said, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, Shazam, Flash, none of these are the current Warner Brothers regime's movies.
No.
Right? We're years away from really feeling what they, so I don't know. But what do you guys think? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.